Welcome back. 20 minutes after 5 here on Today, and our top story this half hour. President Cyril Ramaphosa is inspecting water projects in KwaZulu-Natal. This is aimed at improving the provision of bulk water in the province, as KZN has been struggling with water provision since 1994, with a number of rural areas still lacking clean drinking water. For more, we're joined by senior eNCA reporter Siphamandla Goge. Good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Of course, the president coming out saying they have done well. I mean, from what I could tell, he had given the government a good report. Your views, Pamanda?
That was in the context of this project in particular. He was narrowing it down to this project, which is known as the Vulindlela Bulk Water Scheme. It's located in the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands, servicing areas such as Umsunduzi, which is the capital city of KwaZulu-Natal, comprising of areas such as Pietermaritzburg and surrounding areas. He was making that comment that the government had done well, particularly when it comes to this scheme, drawing parallels with what happened in Hammanskraal, saying budget was allocated but money was used. However, there is nothing to show for that. Also going further up, saying in Giyani, the Giyani water project, 3 billion was spent, but there is nothing to show for that. Saying in this case, for the Vulindlela bulk water scheme, there appears to be progress because R1 billion has been spent and there is something to show for it. However, residents will disagree with him for now and say, well, we see that there is work underway. However, up until we see water coming out of our taps, then we'll believe that indeed there has been progress. However, his comment was designed in a way that he started at the sewer treatment plant, the water treatment plant here in Umsunduzi, where he said the bulk or the bigger chunk of that R1 billion was channeled to that project. So the Vulindlela bulk water scheme is a project that is divided into two. There is a sewer treatment plant or water treatment plant, and then there is the water project itself that will basically lead to the residents getting water. The president saying the first half of this project has been successful. However, he did concede that across the country, water remains a major challenge. I think, if I am not mistaken, he said apart from unemployment and poverty, water is one of those things that are their priority for the South Africans, saying that's something that they need to move with speed in ensuring that they prioritize it. Of course, that sentiment was echoed also by Inkosi Usfiso Shinga, who is the chairperson of the KwaZulu-Natal Traditional House of Leaders, saying rural people would like to see more pace and speed in terms of provision of basic services such as water. And all those who spoke during the gathering with the president, they highlighted the issue of water challenges, unemployment, social ills such as drugs and crime. So it was more of a wide-ranging imbizo, even though it was about water in the area, but other issues such as unemployment also dominated. But let's take a listen to Inkosi Shinga speaking on behalf of Amakosi across KwaZulu-Natal, saying they would want to work with the government, but they are calling on the government to move with speed in providing water in rural areas.
Njoba sonke sazi ayimpilo uma sefikile futhi amanzi asiwanakekele ngayo yonke indlela, kuba amanzi futhi masingawanakekele siyowaswela, ibingekho nento siyoyenza nesiyoyisebenzisa uma amanzi engasekho.
As the president also saying all the right things, you know, even invoking the Constitution that water is a basic right. It's you know, it gives dignity. Sanitation and water goes hand in hand, because if you're not able to bathe, you know, a basic human need and exercise, that doesn't bode well for what is enshrined in the Constitution. But you being there, what are the other promises that he made regarding the water provision?
Well, he says his administration will ensure that all water challenges in the country are fast-tracked, particularly long-standing projects. You know, the Vulindlela project, by the way, many people will be shocked to find out that it was in a way pioneered and also pushed hard by the late former President Nelson Mandela. If you can check how many years we are talking about, you will realize why the people of Vulindlela are fast running out of patience, because this water scheme was committed back then. There have been delays. Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu saying, well, they had to relook at the project because initially small pipes were procured to ensure that they supply water, and they couldn't be able to do that because of the infrastructure and the tools that were sourced for the project. They had to go back and ensure that correct bigger pipes are procured that would be able to pump water. But they did allude to the fact that there are other factors at play here, including the fact that the population of this area has increased so much, so therefore they needed to revisit the project so that they will be able to accommodate the current population of this area, which is growing rapidly. But President Ramaphosa saying the issue of unemployment, the issue of crime, the issue of drugs, and just basic service delivery is what is needed. However, also going beyond the borders of KwaZulu-Natal in terms of water challenges in the country, saying if you go to the Eastern Cape, the low, or rather the much talked about Umzimvubu water dam and also the Giyani water project, those are some of the projects that are yet to be completed, and billions of rands have been committed. Giyani water project in Limpopo is still not complete. Yes, there are allegations of fraud and corruption involved in that, but take a listen to the president unpacking the importance of water and what his administration is going to do to fast track the already committed water projects across the country.
So water is life. Amanzi impilo. And yona inkinga enkulu empilweni zabantu bakithi.
Of course, unemployment, particularly youth unemployment, also featuring very strongly a stern warning from the president saying that the communities, when they express their frustration because of service delivery or lack thereof, they then tend to destroy the very infrastructure that's supposed to service them. Siphamandla?
Absolutely. I guess apart from the water story, what was very dominating during the president, engagement with the local community was the issue of unemployment. All those who took to the podium to address the president, they highlighted the water challenge, but others started with unemployment, saying in order for you to be able to solve some of the socio-economic challenges in the country, you need, number one, economic growth, which will then translate into job creation, and also you need to enable the environment to be conducive for domestic and foreign investors to come in and invest, and as a result the private sector will be able then to create employment opportunities for the locals, because government alone doesn't have capacity and resources to provide employment. Those who spoke to the president urging him and his administration to say they need to do more to at least enable the environment to be conducive for job creation in the country, grow the economy. Once that is addressed, at the same time deal with the issue of basic services provision, things such as water, electricity, roads, infrastructure, and others, because also the issue of roads dominated. The president is saying, well, there are challenges that have contributed to job losses in the recent past, highlighting the issue of COVID-19, saying 2 million people lost their jobs. He says, well, for now, according to the statistics, at least they have been able in the past couple of years to create about 1.4 million job opportunities. He says that's not enough. His administration will be focusing on creating more job opportunities and working with the private sector in addressing the unemployment challenge in the country. Please take a listen to him.
All right, Siphamandla, we're going to have to leave it there. In the interest of time, really, really appreciate it. That's eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge.